So if you
Okay.
can come up with sort of a commercial or two commercials, but maybe one that kind of hits the pain point of both of those people and helps them to come together. Again, manifesting your brilliance.
Hello and welcome back to Tech and Startups, the premier growth network for technology leaders. Let's get started.
We're just excited to get on with you and talk about something that you're going through in your world, something that you're growing in and you're exploring, maybe a challenge you're playing with. What are you working on?
Yeah, so I am a how do I explain? An entrepreneur. I like to venture in things that catch my attention. One thing that caught my attention about 4, 5 years ago was just the possibility of being able to kind of get real-time answers via FaceTime or any other application. Just if someone is having a problem, someone on the other end is able to walk that person through the problem. So for instance, if a person is not very technical, actually I just had a friend today send me some pictures of his kitchen sink, and he's like, what the heck is this? Right. So I'm said, we FaceTime, and I said, okay, well, this is the pipe to the garbage disposal, and this is, so you need to tighten this coupling. So it's just kind of that type of thing, and I think that we all do that kind of anyway. The technology just naturally provides for us to be able to do that. But I had this idea that it could be a little bit bigger, as far as, maybe I don't know somebody that knows something about plumbing. Could I possibly go on this platform and connect with someone in real time that knows about plumbing? So I had pitched this idea to, I went to this venture capitalist kind of, it wasn't an incubator, but just kind of like learning this whole venture capitalist world and what they look for and blah, blah, blah. And did a couple of pitch events. But soon, realized that, I don't have the technical know-how to build this thing out. And so then I tried to, build a team, get people's interest in the idea, in the concept, which most people that I spoke to said, oh, that's a cool thing. It should be a thing. And then, maybe I'm not the best team builder. I don't know. But it just kind of lost its momentum after that. So I don't know if that answers your question.
I think it does. Yeah.
Okay.
Because what I'm hearing is, Jason, have a brilliant idea. Everyone knows that it's brilliant. I'm learning about how to manifest brilliance, and I'm discovering that in order to manifest that brilliance, I need some compatriots. I need some teammates in this, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm getting my where are my teammates at? Where's my support? Where's my I mean, is that what it feels like?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about that a little bit. I'd ask you, where are you at now with that? So it sounds like I think you'd agree it's a technology product, right?
Yeah.
You want to build. Are you a technology builder right now? Are you a person who builds technology?
No, I'm not. I'm a realtor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you a person who has, I'm going to guess you haven't been a part of building technology in the past. Is that right?
No, I haven't.
Cool. So we got to think about like what your role is in all of this thing, because totally you have your brilliance, right? That you need to manifest. And you're not gonna be able to do it by your hands, with your two hands, right? But a lot of people have ideas. That's the thing about ideas, right? We've all got some we hold on to, some we throw away. There are a rare few of us who are going to do something with their ideas. That's you. You're going to do something. We got to figure out what your role is in getting an idea together. So some of that, like you're saying, is assembling a team. And some of that is, I think it's some of that is seeing who you're going to be in that team. Who are you in that team? Are you the fundraiser? Are you the inspirer? Are you the manager of people? Are you the ringleader? Like what's your role? What's your role going to be inside of this? Damien, how is that ringing for you?
I like that. I like that frame. I did a talk a little while ago about when building a sort of technology product, software product business, you need 3 people. You need somebody who understands the domain, the users, what they need. You need somebody and then you need somebody who can like make things manifest. You take your technologist, generally the person who puts pen to paper or keys or wood on nails on wood and makes the thing that is useful. And then the third person is the person that keeps the lights on. I'm guessing your experience as a realtor and managing properties sets you up really well for that, like corporations, bank accounts, that sort of. I say crap because it's not my
Finding money, finding the money.
Right.
Correct.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yes, yes, being in the field that I am, I know a lot of people with a lot of money. A lot of so I have a friend. I'll just give this example. I have a friend that he just trains his dog all day. He's made his millions, and he's into what is it called, French ring training, or and so like he tells me all the time, yeah, when you make something, if you have something that you can make, and you can show me how it works, and it, either I'll invest, or people with money know people with money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that whole thing, and it's just like, okay, so I'm like, all right, that piece, great, but I don't have that thing.
That's great.
It's like, so
Well, and that means we solved the first problem. And the first problem is, who are you in this? And I think Damien's structure of, you got your domain expertise, like who knows about this world of video advice, this kind of video consulting. That's a domain expertise. We can find somebody who already knows a little bit about that. This world of developers, I mean, gosh, there's a whole, I don't want to say it's simple, but Damien and I come from a world where it feels simple. So they're out there, but you're not either of those things, but there's this third thing that's really necessary, that you have a talent in, which is finding the money. So we've got your role, and now you're saying, okay, where are my other two partners? Where are my others? Right. Yeah. And I think that's right. I think it's time to start thinking about who are your other people going to be. And then I would ask you, do you have a really good, easy to understand explanation of this thing? You explained it to us so well, but is there some way of communicating further the value? So I can take some guesses at the value of what this is, because I can think of the number of times I said, well, dang, I wish I had someone to just show. Oh, I can look it up on YouTube. But wait, my thing is installed into the wall in this way. So I found the appliance. I looked up the appliance number and blah, blah, blah. But the last plumber or whatever routed it through 5 different kinds of pipes. This clearly isn't my domain. But my situation doesn't look like what I'm finding on YouTube. But if I could get an expert on the line with me, that'd be great. So the question is, like, that sounds cool. What's the value of that? What could the business model be? You can get coaching on building that. That doesn't have to be something you need to already know how to do. But I think the next step might be, can we find you one possible next step could be, can we find you some coaching on how to take an idea and find it's one of its business models, and find the value that it could be in the market, and find a way, as you talk to people, like, what really are we building? Because you're not just building video chats that exist. Video chats exist. You're taking advantage of the fact that video chats exist. Experts exist. You're taking advantage of that fact, and you're starting to figure out a good way to string them together. And that's your business model is going to tell you how to string them together. You got to string them together. You don't really know how yet, and having a business model, some exploration about that, maybe that domain expert. But I think a pitching helper or a business model helper might be one of the next steps you might explore. Damien, what's your take on that thinking?
I think that's a great idea. How are you? I feel like Jason's headed down this path, so I want to know where he is on that particular path.
Headed down the path of finding the people to fill in these various roles.
Finding the business model.
Yeah, it's been difficult. The reason that it's been difficult is because people who I've discussed this with, they haven't built technology of their own, if you will, right? They haven't. they haven't done that thing. So it's hard because, you know, it's like the blind leading the blind in a way, you know, like.
So let's look at it from a different perspective. I want to talk about how you can actually make this technology manifest. I think that's really important. I think that and I do want to get into that.
Hold us back.
But before we do that, take it from a user perspective, because you didn't come up with this idea out of whole cloth. This didn't sprout from your forehead like Athena. This is something that you were doing.
Yes.
So as a person who needs this product, that's where it came from. This is something you need, or this is something that people you know need.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to interact with it? Would you like to pay for it on a use case basis? Would you like it? Would you be okay if it had ad support? I'm going off my head, like what potential business models. But like,
I'm looking up who Athena is and what she was sprouting from.
Right.
Athena sprouted from the head of Zeus. You know, let's pretend I have
read more books than others. That's all I know.
So like, if you're a customer, if you're a user of this thing you're building, how does it want to look like to you? How do you want to support it?
Right. So the way that I envisioned it or saw it working was that, you know, it's kind of like YouTube. So people who put content up on YouTube in the beginning don't necessarily get paid for their content until they hit a certain threshold of subscribers and users and so on. So the way that I saw it was just, you know, like people who love what they do and want to maybe spread, like if they're the expert, love what they do and spread the word, like, hey, if you need help with plumbing or whatever, I love plumbing, hit me up on this FaceTime app, whatever you want to call it, and I'll help you out with your plumbing. And that will help them kind of get their name out there. And then, you know, we live in the world of reviews now, right? So you look at the reviews and you see, oh, this person is really good. And man, they helped me with my problem like that. It would have taken me 2 days to figure this out. We got it done in 5 minutes. So almost that kind of same YouTube model, where as you get more popular now, because that makes more sense to me in the beginning, that where now if you're giving more time to, you know, answering these FaceTime calls, then now you should be compensated. But in the beginning, like it doesn't make sense to I think that compensation is kind of, or the prohibitive, as far as like, I don't know this person and I don't know if they're going to be able to solve my problem. So why am I going to give them my dollars? And they, you know what I mean? Like in the very beginning.
I think that's a very sensible theory.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely worth trying out. And I wouldn't have thought of it, but it actually makes a lot of sense, because a lot of content is lead generating. Like when you were talking about this, I'm going, okay, well, there's a guy who works at Home Depot who would love to answer questions about plumbing, because, you know, at some point he's going to say, you need this part, we have it down here.
That's right.
There's a plumber who's going to say, oh, that, you know, this is easy, you can fix it yourself. And he'll get a great review because something else will come up, and then something else come up that you can't fix yourself, and that's the guy you call.
Exactly.
And it's so timely. I mean, Jason, you're so on time with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
with
in this
COVID and everything going on.
Because people are looking. They are looking. Vendors who used to have people come to them or call them to their house are looking for what they're like. What's going on? And I'll tell you what. I mean, I know your mind. Maybe because you're a realtor, your mind's on the home stuff. Like where it's this hardware working, the appliances, and I get that, and I think that's valid and keep it. I'm seeing service providers turn to like Instagram and Instagram Live to show off their work and try to get bookings in some other system, and they are then doing a Zoom chat like we are, doing a Skype, doing whatever, some kind of video thing, but they don't have an easy way of collecting payment, so they're doing payment in one system. Right? They're doing their advertising, marketing, even reviews in another system, which is Instagram. Do they already say nice things about me on Instagram or not? That's the best they got for reviews. And then using some other system, some video system, right? And they gotta organize all of that, all three of those, and maybe more. And these people are language coaches. people who come to your house and do language instruction. Reiki, which is like energy healing. I don't know a lot about it, but it's a thing I've seen. Breath work, different kinds of therapies, yoga. I have a lot of friends who are into crystals. What can I say? So there are people who have, and whether it's in the time of pandemia or not,
Yes.
there are people who are looking for a way to offer their services without having to enter somebody's home, but they traditionally would have. And so, and they're struggling. They're already juggling, right? They're juggling these three things, and they wish they didn't have to. And they're asking their friends, and they're asking their people around, what are you using for this? What are you using for that? So they're looking for a home right now to do exactly what you're doing. So my goodness, it's a great time. So that might be the business model. And what I think about is, I had a bunch of thoughts. Upwork, but Upwork that's focused on video. What I'm thinking about is Airbnb, but Airbnb that's focused on services. What I'm thinking about, so there are business models. Handy, but Handy involves coming to your house. TaskRabbit involves coming to your house, right? So now you're not coming to your house. It's a video-based platform. It's almost like you're asking for TaskRabbit, or another one is Regain. There's something called Regain, which is exactly what you're talking about, but they only focus on therapists. It's basically your exact idea applied strictly to therapists, but you would take that same kind of model and open it up. Nothing wrong with that. That already exists. There are many competing things, right? It's okay. Right. So you got some business model stuff there, and I think that's good. And the next thing I'm talking a lot, so I have a next idea, but I want to pause and ask you, what are you hearing us say? What are you hearing us say, and what's your reaction to it? And then we can talk about some other stuff.
Okay, well, I'm hearing nailing down like the business model, that it is that there is something here as far as something that can be applied to today's market, today's needs and wants, and then finding those pieces. I think of it. I'm a former college basketball player, so finding the different players on the team to accomplish the mission.
I get that.
College basketball, that's great, because there's a big aspect of recruiting when you coach college basketball.
Yeah, that's right.
How do you convince a player to come play at your university?
My college coach was easy though. If you tell an 18-year-old kid to come to Hawaii and play basketball on a scholarship, kind of an easy sell, man. That's yeah.
Well, what you're thinking of, if you assemble the right team, it might feel a lot like going to Hawaii to play basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Going out there.
So I think you're in the exact same situation. What can you offer this team? I think what I'm hearing is the one skill you're missing is the technological aspect of actually making this thing manifest that you're thinking of.
Yeah.
What can you offer somebody who has that? Right.
So the best thing is money at this point, right? And so that goes back to the investors. See, and this is where I get, or everything went stagnant, is like the investor wants to see something. Like, okay, give me something. Let me see something of how it works. The technical person is like, well, I'm not going to give you something. I'm not going to give you something until I get paid, right? Like, I want some money first. And so I was like, well, so it's kind of this stalemate type position that I found myself in, where
absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is exactly where, Jason, the idea of a prototype would come in. And the first thing a lot of people think about when they hear something like a prototype, they're like, well, a prototype for a car is usually a working car, a smaller working car, a model of a car, right? But in technology, you can access a prototype in some kind of cool ways, because what you want is for people to sort of get the experience of something without having to actually build the thing. And so board game designers, for example, they create paper prototypes of the board game. They cut out construction paper and they write things down, and they instead of having little pieces, they might make something out of Play-Doh, or they might go grab a thimble or something from the cupboard, right? And they're going into the junk drawer grabbing out stuff to make a prototype of what the game will be. It looks it's enough to imagine what the experience is. And to that effect, there's a company that's been with us for a long time now. It's called Dropbox. Have you ever used Dropbox?
Dropbox, the cloud storage.
That's right. It's the cloud
Okay.
storage. And so you're probably familiar, probably that basically it takes a folder on your computer, and whatever you put in that folder appears exactly the same on the cloud. And then if you change something in that folder, just like you would any other folder, if you change something in that folder, you can act all the same way. Add something, delete something, edit something, do whatever you do normally with the folder on your desktop. It gets replicated up in the cloud, and then you can access that in other places. It can be backed up, all of that. Well, that prototype, the prototype for that, and the way that they sold it to their investors and the way that they recruited developers, they made a video. They made a video of dragging and dropping things into a folder and then showing a picture of a website where that little file was appeared. Now, did the file really appear on the website? No. They just added a little animation, just a little video editing. That was it. That was the pitch. They said, look at what it will, this is what it will do. So one way we might explore for beginning a prototype is, what would the video look like? So can you sketch it out on paper? That's your prototype for you. And then can you emulate? Can you fake this? Do you know what I mean? Can you fake, like right now we're doing a Zoom call, right? We're doing a video conference. Could you film someone holding their phone, receiving advice from holding their phone, receiving advice from someone else? Could you film this plumber doing something? Could you film what looks like a payment system? Could you film do you know what I mean? Can you film what the experience will be without actually making the darn thing? And now people can really see it, and they go, oh, that's what I'm, as a developer, that's what I'm in charge of building. Okay. As an investor, oh, that's what I'm paying money into. So yeah, you want to show them something, but we can be creative in what we show them, what that very first prototype is.
Thank you. That's good advice. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the way you described it as a stalemate, right? The developer wants money to build something, the investor wants to see something built in order to give you money. And so you have to move one or both somewhere. So one of the things, like, you can move investors by showing them a prototype. You can show them that's a brilliant idea, Alex. I was going to suggest, like, do it by hand. Just, you know, but you don't need an application. You can do it. You would do the things that the application would do, and your customers would use it. And you couldn't serve a lot of customers that way, but it's something you can show investors. To move the other end, to move the developer, you can offer equity for the right person. That's a great thing. You got to give them the same pitch you give the investors. But if they believe the pitch and believe it's something they can build, and you know, developers, a lot of people like to come on to things like that. So yeah, it's just different techniques to move those sides together, away from that stalemate that you feel you're in now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I was along those paths, but once again, this is the other thing. Is just like, you know, as the kind of only person in this right now, it gets it's tiring. Like, I'm going to, you know, pitch events, trying to get things off the ground, you know, and I got other responsibilities as well. So, but I think that it's worth it, and I just kind of lost momentum. That's all.
I know you have experience with great teams, so you know that everything works better when you're working with a team.
Absolutely.
And when you're no longer alone on this project, it's going to go a lot better. So now, we talked about several different directions. Like, we talked about where you're at and how you feel stalemated, and we talked about several different directions to move away from that, several different directions you may want to go. What's your next step? What are you going to do next?
Well, the video is definitely the next thing that I'm going to do. Like, that is the very next thing. I actually have something like this document that Annalise sent me. Like, she was basically like, you know, name all the users, name the experts, name, you know, just kind of mapping things out, like map it out. And I think it's good advice as well, just so I can be more efficient in creating the video. But I do want to go back to the business model, if we could. So we talked about, like, you know, kind of the YouTube, the user thing. And Alex, you said that you before you asked me a question, you said you want to go somewhere, but you want to ask me a question first. Do you remember?
It was the prototype. I was really wanting to get to the prototype idea, and I wanted to not get there too fast.
Okay, got you. Okay, yeah, yeah. So definitely, yeah. The prototype would be the video prototype is a great idea. I was attempting to go there. Well, I went there, and it was just.
Yeah, I would say, and Jason, I would say to guide you on that, if you can imagine what the commercial would look like when this is done, imagine what the commercial will look like. That's what your video should look like. Because again, you're just showing the pictures and a little bit of video, a little bit of movement of what it ought to be, what the experience for a user. And you have two users, right? You have the person who's receiving the help, and you have the person who's providing the help, and they're both really important users to you. So think about what the commercial would be to one or both of those people. And then when you design the commercial, now you know more or less what your video is going to look like.
Okay, yeah. It was, when I was doing it before, it all centered around the user and the frustration of the user going through YouTube, I've personally experienced this many a times, going to, the hardware store, getting the piece, coming back, the piece doesn't fit, going back, just like all that runaround and just frustration that comes with it.
And I would do both. I would do the heartache that both people are experiencing right now. So one is the user's like, what do I do? I'm so frustrated in my unique situation. That's the customer. And then the service provider, who's also in a way your customer, is going, it could be, I don't have a job right now, but it could be, I'm just excited to share my expertise and be appreciated for that. It could be just as simple as that. I hope to share and build my reputation as an expertise provider. So if you can come up with sort of a commercial or two commercials, but maybe one that kind of hits the pain point of both of those people and helps them to come together in this beautiful way, again, manifesting your brilliance.
Yeah, thank you. I like that. I've never heard manifesting your brilliance, but that resonates for sure.
Cool.
All right.
Nice. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for letting us be a part of your journey, man.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. Just to be able to express this to people in the field, know-how and your expertise and knowledge. Thank you for your time. And I'm gonna get that video going.
Thank you. It was really our pleasure.
Okay.
Let us know how it comes out.
I will do. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks, Jake. Nice to meet you.
Aloha, you too.
Aloha, Jason.
Aloha.
We've gotten some fantastic insights on strengthening your team. But what about other ways you can strengthen your team? I've assembled an 8-page guide on the 4 quadrants of strengthening your team with key insights from more than 11 veteran tech team leaders. To get yours, grab the link below this video. I'm so glad you joined us today. If this video was helpful, give it a like, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so that tech and startup videos continue to show up in your feed. I'll see you in the other videos.